Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network can be found by subscribing to Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com. You can subscribe to the Google Podcast app. You can subscribe to Stitcher or TuneIn. You can find the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network with great content, including interviews, post-fight wrap-ups, live broadcasts, and of course on weekly news and notes. So please subscribe to the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. Once again, either on Stitcher, TuneIn, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or the Google Podcast app. We thank you very much for joining us each and every week. And Beltway Boxing News and Notes are brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, where you have great jewelry, 20% off your first purchase, and also great weight loss tips without dieting, eating real food along the way on Deborah, DEBRA Spears.com. Just a short podcast this week. We have a few notes for you, and of course we're going to go over the October schedule, which is actually very, very light this month. So we don't have a whole lot going on there. We got some losses as far as some Beltway boxers losing some bouts over the past week. We also have an interesting news item from the WBC convention, which is taking place this week in Kiev, Ukraine. But our top story happens to be, again, one of the great stories in the Beltway over the last few years, because this young lady has just improved by leaps and bounds, and she's getting better all the time. And being able to watch her a little bit this week, I'm amazed how well she's improved over the last few years. And we're talking about, of course, Amelia Moore out of Alexandria, Virginia, who captured a gold medal this week in her first international competition. She fought as a part of the USA Elite Squad at the Boxam tournament in Castellon, Spain. And she won a gold medal in that tournament. She scored 3 straight unanimous decisions, and her championship bout in the 141-pound division, she defeated Stephanie Pinero of Puerto Rico. And I saw that bout. And I remember a few years ago, right before the 2016 trials, I saw her take on Tierra Brown at Tony's Gym in Washington, D.C. This was around late 2015. Actually, it was early 2015, actually. And she was good, but you could tell Brown just had much better skills, and you could still tell that Amelia Moore was still learning boxing a little bit. She still was learning it. I tell you now, she's got to be considered one of the best in the country right now. I mean, she had an outstanding 2017. We've talked about this many times. She won a ringside championship, a PAL championship, a women's Golden Gloves, and a USA national championship, all in calendar year 2017. Well, this one was, I think, tops it all because, again, first time she's won over that internationally. During her week at the Boxam tournament, she did defeat, a weekend, I should say, because it was a weekend tournament. She did defeat a woman from Spain, and the tournament was held in Castellon, Spain. But just an outstanding performance, and I tell you, her confidence is so high right now. I mean, briefly talking to her and just watching her confidence is so high. And 2020, she called herself 2020 Vision. That's what she has. And so to be a part of Team USA in Tokyo in 2020. And I think she has a very good chance of doing it. I mean, it is really amazing how far she's come. The USA Elite Squad during this tournament had 5 gold medalists, 3 silvers, and 1 bronze. But I tell you, Amelia Moore just did an outstanding job. She continues to do great guns in boxing in the Beltway region. So congratulations once again to Amelia Moore. Now we're hearing also midway through October that Keyshawn Davis and Troy Isley, who trained with Amelia Moore at the Alexandria Boxing Club in Alexandria, Virginia, have events coming up in this month. We'll keep you posted on that going forward. Meanwhile, in pros over the past weekend, tough losses for two Beltway boxers. That was at the King's Theater in Brooklyn, New York. DC super middleweight Gregory Glizzy Clark lost by first round TKO to undefeated Edgar Berlanga of New York City. Clark was moving throughout the round, but Berlanga was able to stalk him, and he landed an overhand right, dropped him for the first knockdown. He had a flurry go up against him in the second knockdown, followed by a left hook to the body that dropped Clark for the third and final down. They didn't give any time on the knockout, but Clark became one of Berlanga's first round victims because he is now Berlanga's 9-0, all 9 wins by KO, all 9 wins in the first round. Now I saw that on Fight News and said it was unprecedented. Well, they forgot about Tyrone Brunson, who had 23 straight first round knockouts to start his career. Clark, meanwhile, is 3-3-1, 1 KO, just kind of up and down. I mean, he wins one, he loses one. He wins one, he loses one. So he's still a tough fighter, but again, Berlanga, I guess he's pretty good. I mean, it's hard to say. 9-0 with all 9 knockouts in the first round. You have to say something, no question about that. So Clark with a tough loss there. Also in that card, Upper Marlboro, Maryland cruiserweight Charles Johnson. He lost by 4-round unanimous decision to the debuting Giovanni Scuderi of Italy. I believe he now lives in Brooklyn, New York. Again, there was no word on the scores, but everybody I've talked to about that bout said it was a pretty close bout. So we'll see. But again, a tough loss for Charles Johnson. He's now 1-2 with 1 KO. So that's the recap for this week. Again, very brief recap. Now, we have a very light. Now, we've been busy over the last couple of months in the Beltway with big bouts and big cards. But right now, we're pretty light. And the October schedule actually starts, we record this Saturday, October 6th. That'll be in the Davis Arena in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where Haymarket, Virginia welterweight Juan de la Cruz Rodriguez. He'll be in a 6-round bout against undefeated Janelson Boca Chica of Detroit, Michigan. Now, Rodriguez is 8-10-1, 6 KOs. He'll be trying to break a 3-bout losing streak, including a 6-round unanimous decision to Anthony Laureano in Augustville, Connecticut, on June 30th. Boca Chica's an interesting opponent. He's 11-0, 8 KOs. He's just 19 years old, and he knocked out his last 4 opponents. He coming off a second-round knockout of Noel Esqueda. That was on July 28th back at the Davis Arena in Louisville. So tough. There'll be a tough bout again for Juan Rodriguez. We'll see what happens coming up this Saturday, October 6th, at the Davis Arena in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, our amateur card that I know of so far, and again, hopefully this schedule will expand throughout the month. But right now, the amateur card we have in the month takes place at the Ocean City Convention Center in Ocean City, Maryland. There'll be an amateur card promoted by Jake Smith in Baltimore Boxing. It's called the Baddest Son of a Beach Fight Fest. Interesting name for that one. Now, I don't know anybody on the card. I've heard Brian Hainsack will be on the card. Heard Lisa Howen will be on the card. But one of the big draws for this, actually 2 of the big draws for this card are one former world champion and a current world champion will be in attendance. The former world champion, who has been there many times for Jake's cards, is, of course, Vinny Paz. Vinny Paz will be there once again signing autographs, taking pictures. But he'll be joined this time by current WBC welterweight champion Sean Showtime Porter. They're both scheduled to be in attendance. They'll be signing autographs, taking pictures. So make sure you join them during that situation. We'll try to give you more information about this card on Friday, October 12th from the Ocean City Convention Center in Ocean City, Maryland. It is the Baddest Son of a Beach Fight Fest. So we'll see what happens there. Then on Saturday, October 20th at the Center Stage in Charlotte, North Carolina. Center Stage at NODA. I don't know what NODA is. Charlotte, North Carolina. We have Seat Pleasant, Maryland lightweight James Too Slick Early. He'll be in a 6-round contest against Stevie the Answer Massey of Charlotte, North Carolina. Early is 3-3, looking to bounce back from a 4-round unanimous decision loss to Ricky De Los Santos. That was on May 11th in Lincoln, Nebraska. Massey is 7-1, all 7 wins by KO. He's on a 3-bout knockout streak that includes a first-round knockout over Gabriel Braxton. That was on June 30th back at the Center Stage. Now, by the way, this card is promoted by one of the great people in this business, one of the legendary female boxers in this business, the coal miner's daughter herself, Christy Martin, who's done pretty well as a promoter over the last few months. She's promoted a couple cards. I think one of the cards she had was with Scott Cujo Sigmund, and they become really good partners lately. So wish them well as well. But James Slick, Too Slick Early, taking on Stevie D and Massey, Saturday, October 20th in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then, of course, the only card that is taking place in the Beltway, as far as pros are concerned, that's the rescheduled card from Saturday, September 29th at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. Rescheduled card, Citation Sports card, that'll be on Saturday, October 27th at Rosecroft Raceway. Now, scheduled to have Dante Cox against Mac Pappy Allison. Also scheduled to be on that card, Jason Bell against Jake Plana. We've seen that Malik Jackson has been added to the card as well. So we'll see. Again, that's Saturday, October 27th from Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. And that, folks, is the schedule. Don't have a whole lot more than that, but hopefully some more bouts and more cards we had. I've been hearing rumors that Cornell Hitman Hines is scheduled to be in Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday, October 13th. Also, Zarfbek, Triple Z, Nishinbayev will be in a card sometime in October as well. But nothing has come up officially on BoxRec, which is my go-to source. So we have to wait and see. Now, interesting story once again out of the World Boxing Council convention. This is the 56th convention, and it's being held this week in Kiev, Ukraine. And back on Wednesday, they had their meeting for mandatory bouts. This is where they list the mandatory bouts that the champions in the WBC are supposed to have. And I guess if they don't have them, they'll be stripped in some cases. Now, of course, one of the WBC champions, our very own Gary Russell Jr., Mr. Gary Russell Jr., he's the WBC featherweight champion, of course, out of Capitol Heights, Maryland. He is 29-1, 17 KOs. Now, unlike the majority of boxers in the WBC, champions in WBC, Russell's already fought his mandatory. He fought his mandatory back on May 19th, and he won a 12-round unanimous decision over Joseph Diaz at the MGM National Harbor Casino in Ox Hill, Maryland. So right now, there is no mandatory as such for Gary Russell Jr. He does have a number one challenger. That guy's name is Mark Magsayo. He's out of the Philippines. Actually, he's fighting out of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia right now. He's 18-0, 13 KOs. Fought a couple times in the United States at the Stub Up Center in Carson, California. But again, no one's heard of him. But again, he's technically not the mandatory challenger for Russell at this time. So WBC is doing something that has announced something, I should say, that it's a very weird move. It's very unusual. But if it happens, the sport definitely benefits. There's no question about that. WBC is ordering, and this is the word they've used, ordering Russell to battle Leo Santa Cruz of Rosemead, California, who happens to be at this time the WBA featherweight champion. Now, he's also the WBC Diamond champion, which is a big regional title in the WBC. So, technically, they have a WBC champion against a WBC champion as such, but more importantly, he's the WBA champion. And the WBC really cannot force a champion from another federation to compete in a unification bout. But here's where it gets interesting. This bout may still happen because both these guys want this bout. They've been talking about this for a while. There actually was a rumor floating around that this bout would end up on, and I guess technically it still could, because they'd have about a month or so, month and a half to work on preparing for it. So technically, I guess it could happen on December the 1st, and that's on the card in Los Angeles, Staples Center, where Deontay Wilder will take on Tyson Fury. That'll be a pay-per-view card if it happens. So I guess technically it still could happen, depending on how quickly things get signed. But the fact of the matter is, both these guys want it. It's on the agenda on both Premier Boxing Champions and on Showtime. So I have to think somehow, some way, this bout gets made. Probably early in 2019, I would gather, but I would have to think this bout gets done. And boy, what a bout it would be, no question about that. Of course, Santa Cruz coming off, he is 35-1-1, 19 KOs, just coming off that big win over Abner Mares. So that was at the Staples Center, where if the bout takes place on December 1st, that's where it'll be held at the Staples Center, but in Los Angeles. But I gotta think this bout gets done. And I gotta think this bout gets done probably within the next couple of months. It's a big bout, of course. It is a great bout. So I'd have to think it gets done somewhere along the line. But I just thought it was a very interesting move, and it's made some interesting press in the boxing world over the last 24 hours or so. And I love to see it. I would love to see the bout. And I think, Russell, I think the only thing that kind of stops Russell from doing this is that he just fights so infrequently, And he may not fight again the rest of the year. He may fight again next year, which, again, is robbing a lot of folks of the great talent that he possesses, of seeing the great talent that he possesses. But again, they do things their way. The Russell family does things their way. And it'll happen on Russell's time, so to speak. But both guys want it, so I gotta think it's got to happen somewhere along the line. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you posted on that as well. And folks, that's it. That's our podcast for this week. Once again, the Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network, brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Get a free pain offer. Keep free $10 to Real Time Pain Relief every time you buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. We're also brought to you by DeborahSpears.com. Great weight loss tips, as well as great jewelry on Deborah, Debra Spears.com, and on the Boxing on Beltway blog at boxingonthebeltway.blogspot.com. We have got banners for both Best Buy and now for Amazon. So if you subscribe, and I should say if you buy through the Boxing on Beltway podcast link for Amazon and or Best Buy, you help out the Boxing on Beltway podcast and the blog as well. So hopefully you will make it a point to go ahead and buy your gifts and because Christmas season's coming up, buy your gifts and items through the Best Buy and Amazon links on boxingonthebeltway.blogspot.com. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thank you for supporting and thank you for listening. Always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Take care.